welcome to Heads Up. In an earlier episode, we had shown you how technology is being used in the education system extensively. And today on the show, we're taking a slightly different angle to this story. We're looking at how teachers train themselves and adapt themselves to the modern technology to be able to learn better and then teach better.
Everybody talks about how multi-experiential and active learning is important. But at the same time, how does one actually create that in the classroom? And from a teacher's perspective, there's a huge amount of effort which would be involved to actually enable such learning in the classroom.
Because as a nursery teacher, the one thing that we really concentrate upon is visual reinforcement, which up till now we used to do with the help of books, puzzles, or flashcards. But at Tata Class Edge, the visuals have really made it very easy and interesting at the same time.
Of transferring heat from body A to body A, B, reading for it. Right? It is not that we switch it on and immediately...
Teachers now are provided with innovative and comprehensive lesson plans that help them teach better. A blend of curriculum-mapped classroom activities and interactive digital multimedia with tremendous visuals, a classroom like this is bound to be fun.
Early 2011, we looked around and understood the education landscape, where clearly there was a growing focus on imparting 21st century skills to students, and therefore things like problem solving or critical thinking, communication, collaboration were becoming important from the perspective of parents, teachers, and of course students. And what we realized is that there was little or almost no attempt being made to empower the teachers so that they can create a classroom environment that is immersive enough, engaging enough, for them to be able to focus on these 21st century skills, so to speak. And that's when we decided to come up with a product of our own, which would essentially be a repository of various resources which the teachers can use in the classroom, and through use of those resources, enable 21st century skills among students.
There are many experiments which I would like to do with the students in the lab, but considering the age, it's not feasible to do so. So I can bring the lab to the class itself, and it helps me to show them how the pH paper is changing the color, how the bulb is radiating, how I'm making a circuit, and so on and so forth. So it helps me as a teacher to give a concept in science, because science is basically not about just learning from the book. It is about building a concept. And this has helped me in a wonderful way to build up that.
In India, there are many education technology companies that have come up in the last decade. All of them aim to provide schools with both hardware and learning material. But the question one must ask is, how close have they come to understanding teacher requirement, and are teachers more empowered today?
Not enough was being done to facilitate the change management process for the teacher. There's a fairly significant change for the teacher from one way of teaching to a very different way of teaching. Challenge, so to speak, is not so much from the perspective of where the teachers are, but perhaps from the perspective of how disconnected some of the service providers are.
When you come to teach children, you know that you have to go one step ahead. Otherwise, you're nothing in a classroom. They'll eat you. Okay? So when you have to be there in one step ahead than them, then you have to learn all that they know, right?
Every teacher needs to connect with the devices personally. More so, he must be able to view the exact textbook lessons on his smartboard. Technology in classrooms might be of little use if the instructor fails to develop a certain level of fluency with it. And the curriculum teachers are provided with here has managed to do exactly that.
92% teachers in our country are the teachers who are not passionate about teaching. There are only 8% teachers who are passionate about teaching among teachers. So training plays a very, very vital role, and it's an ongoing thing. Government as well as many companies, including Tata Class Edge, is focusing big time on teaching training teachers so that we develop teachers to a level so that they can face or they can address the learning requirements of new generation, which is technology-led generation.
There are enough and probably an overloaded number of resources available on the internet that every teacher can have an easy access to. But they are not curated according to the curriculum. When a teacher opens the system, it's mapped according to a textbook that every teacher is very familiar with. This connects with the teacher on the ground, making every teacher's life easy.
My students nowadays, all those kids, they are very computer savvy. So if they are using computers, they are having tablets, they are having Android and enabled mobiles at home, and in school they are just getting a blackboard, is going to bore them, right? But when they come to school and they find the same environment here, they are more interested in coming to school.
Cutting-edge classrooms with well-armed teachers, this battle is a sure shot victory for students and most certainly for teachers.
Once technology is introduced in the education system, it becomes very important to train teachers to be able to use it to perfection. And here's the right way to do it.
When I got to know about the technology, I was a little hesitant. I was not that comfortable with computers.
When we were studying as a student, we didn't have technology much. We just had graph papers, so we were forced to draw.
It was really challenging at beginning because we have grown up into an atmosphere where there were no iPads.
Technology has advanced tremendously over the last decade, and the pace and extent of change in technology has made it a little difficult for some teachers to keep themselves updated. Teachers all around the country are exposed to all forms of edtech products, both hardware and software. However, there is no denying that these help them deliver much better and make classrooms more interactive and fun. Although it is a tough journey for some teachers.
Teachers are known to be knowing everything. Like people say that they are encyclopedias, they know everything. But over the years, technology has taken over in leaps and bounds. So, but when the teacher, they know that they are not very acquainted with the technology bit. So then the first question that comes to any teacher's mind would be that, oh God, whether I am being replaced or whether what's the thing about it.
A classroom, once upon a time, was usually lectures delivered by the teacher. But schools today are increasingly adopting and adapting themselves to the digital world. Take a look at this classroom. Even before these toddlers learn to use paper and pens to write their first alphabet, iPads take over. And now they don't write, they trace letters. Technology tremendously changes the way teachers teach in classrooms.
These kids are too young to understand just the basic concept with, bookish knowledge, or just writing on the board and they copying it in their textbooks or writing it on the worksheet. It's not that fun-filled for them.
Tech tools for visualizing, especially in subjects like maths and science, ensure better understanding. As an added benefit, it not only helps students grasp better, it also helps many teachers deliver better.
We have learned a lot of things through this wonderful tool. It's very easy to connect. We are developing our iBooks through which, like my classroom, I can put it in a form of a book, and then that can be shared with the students, the kids who were absent because of medical reasons. They get access to those books. Then once it comes to holiday homework, we need not print and waste paper. It can directly go on through Edmodo or through emails, through their websites. We can airdrop it on their iPads if internet is not working.
And you can mark them.
Any form of visual learning can make boring textbooks a lot of fun. Having said that, teacher training becomes a very important part of integrating technology into the curriculum. If technology is simply introduced and not made teacher-friendly, it serves no purpose. Training sessions provide teachers with everything that they need to effectively and wisely incorporate technology into their teaching. Maths class is no longer boring. A student can have magnified and 3D view of different types of cells. Rather than demonstrating and explaining verbally, a teacher can use technology to aid their needs.
Initially, if you will ask as a teacher, I also had this fear. And my biggest fear was my students are faster than me. But then later on I realized it's the biggest asset for us. If they are faster, they are learning faster.
Teachers are also of the belief that technology has not only simplified their teaching process and helped students learn and perform better, but also enhanced their skills as a professional.
In the beginning, when something new comes in and you're not well versed with it or you don't know what to do, there is that fear, but at the same time, we have to be updated.
Those trainings have really helped us a lot. It's just that I have got to know that the same thing I can do in so many different ways to make interest, create interest and enthusiasm in my learners. So each day with this technology, with the things that we are doing, we are evolving, we are getting to learn a lot many things as a teacher as well.
Trained teachers, modern classrooms, the students are bound to have a lot of fun while learning. And they believe integrating technology in the classrooms has helped them in more ways than one.
We use iPads in many ways, like when ma'am takes us to the lab, she tells us about many things like metals and non-metals, but it's very difficult to recognize all the names. So I click pictures from my iPad so that I can recognize it.
Not everybody's parents are always available to teach them, but the iPads have this thing called audiobooks, which read the books for you, like the bio books, definitions and all that. And it's pretty easy to hear that as well.
I had shown you 3 different types.
Better teachers make better students. And for teachers to be able to deliver better, educational institutions must ensure effective teacher training programs.
It's time to slip into a short break. Ankita on the other side brings to you a very interesting startup story. Don't go away.